they could vote in weeks. I would expect something like this would probably take a week or two in the Senate. So we'll see if the House does impeachment by this fall. It may be by Christmas that it's actually come in front of the Senate and actually had the trial portion of it as well. I'm looking at the same stuff y'all are. I've got no access to anything that y'all don't have, that the House members don't have, other than the House has had a couple of hearings in their Intel committee in secret, which has been kind of odd. Usually impeachment processes go through the Judiciary Committee and it's public. They've chosen to have their hearings in the Intelligence Committee where it's private. I would hope they would release the transcripts of that out. It's something as big as this, it'd be good to have the transparency that everybody can see it. If y'all don't get my e-newsletter, let us know, or just go on our website at lankford.senate.gov. We send out once a month an e-newsletter. In the last one we did 2 weeks ago, I put the information that's out there that we know right now. I put a link onto it from the phone call that President Trump had with President Zelensky of Ukraine. That transcript is just 5 pages. If you haven't read it, I encourage you to read it. But it's 5 pages long. The whistleblower report is 9 pages long. I put a link to that so people can see it. I can't vote. I can't affect anything on the House, but I can get information to people out and say, here's all that we know. Here's the information we have. Take a look at it and read it. And it's really interesting. As I've traveled around the state this week, I've yet to meet anyone that changed their mind about the president. So I've met folks this week said, basically they liked the president before, they're reading all the stuff, they're seeing what the House is doing, and they're mad at the House and they think the president's done nothing wrong. Or I meet people that don't like the president that say, oh my gosh, this is the last straw, we've got to get this man out. So it is, I haven't met anyone that's changed their mind in the process as they're looking through it. So I'm just telling people, let's get the facts out, everybody look at the facts and go through the facts on this, because it's a big issue. The United States has actually never removed the president. Now, Richard Nixon left, but he resigned. But Richard Nixon, if you'll remember, when his vote came up in the House, when they had a vote to start the impeachment process, Richard Nixon's vote was there's 435 members of the House, 410 of them voted to start the impeachment process. So it was a very clear, nonpartisan, there's a problem. And so he resigned, but we've not had a president removed. I've had folks that have caught me and said, if the president's impeached in the House, will he just resign? I was like, this is Donald Trump. He's not going to resign. That's not going to happen. So I'm just encouraging people, let's get to the facts. Let's go through all the facts and the details on this. But I've not seen anything in it that looks like quid pro quo, that looks like something you would say, that person should be removed from office. Now again, if you didn't like the president before, you probably still don't like him. If you do like the president, you probably still do. I've been pretty clear in a lot of places. I agree with a lot of his policies. I don't like how he talks. I wish he was a role model. He's not. I do. And he and I have had that dialogue. I like it when public figures are also role models. That's just my preference. And I've had lots of folks that have called me and said, you're naive. I'm not asking him to be my pastor. He's my president. He can say and do whatever he wants to. Bull in a China cabinet, go for it. I said, you know what? I've seen a lot of very effective presidents that also were careful in what they said and what they did. I grew up, and this will tell you my age bracket, I grew up with Ronald Reagan as my president. Ronald Reagan won 49 of the 50 states, and he moved a lot of issues. He was a pretty effective president, but he's also very careful in his words and how he portrayed us internationally and domestically. That's who he was. That's not who Donald Trump is. Now, the areas of policy where I agree with him, I agree with him. But in the areas where I disagree, I disagree. Just a funny story just on that. And I know we got to go. Jeff's standing up. Give me the gentle nod. I was traveling with the president. This was a year ago. I was traveling with the president, and as we're traveling, he starts writing out a tweet, and I was literally sitting right next to him, and he turned and looked at me, and he said, "You wouldn't tweet this." And I laughed. I said, "You probably shouldn't either then." He laughed and he said, "But I think it's funny." And so he finished his tweet and he showed it to me, and I was like, "You're right. I would not have tweeted it." But we have that kind of relationship, but I've had folks that have said to me, take his phone away from him. I'm like, if his wife can't take his phone away from him, I can't take his phone away from him. That is who he is. And ultimately, at the end of the day, an impeachment or removal of office is not about the preference about how someone talks or tweets. It's really about, is that something that is serious enough that the president should be removed from office? If not, there's an election coming next year, and the American people will decide this. That's how we decide it as Americans. And again, everybody's got their preference on that, and everybody's got their ideas, and I get that, and I honor that for people. But 63 million people voted for the president. They made him president. They knew exactly who he is, and he's the exact same person now he was 4 years ago. He hasn't changed a bit on that. So we'll go from there. Sure. No, one quick comment I can make to us on this. I'd like to, and then I know I've got to be able to run. I mentioned about role model. There is a younger generation behind us that's watching and trying to figure out how to do disagreement. And right now as a culture, we're in an us-them moment where if you think like that, if you're one of them, I don't talk to you anymore. I am stunned at the number of people that will talk about, Thanksgiving, I have my family, I don't even talk to you anymore. And I'm like, you know what? We've become so polarized on political issues and preference issues and race issues and all kinds of things, we've stopped talking to each other. That doesn't make it better. That makes it worse. I think one of the greatest ways we can show our values is by honoring other people and by actually engaging in real dialogue. Now, there are people that I disagree with all the time. Half the place I work with, I disagree with and disagree with strongly. They vote wrong. They just do, okay? But I can still have dialogue with them, and I can still sit down with most everyone I work with and say, okay, you and I agree on 80% of the things, but this 20%, let's find a way to be able to work together, and then I'm going to try to figure out why you think so wrong about that 80%. And I'm going to explain to you why it's wrong, and let's talk through that. But it's a reasonable dialogue as another person that's a human being. I'm a Christian, and I really do believe each person's created in the image of God. They have value and worth. We should be able to respect that person and to be able to have reasonable dialogue with someone, even if we disagree. And there's a generation behind us trying to figure out how to do that, and they're not doing it very well. We should set the example and be able to help people know, okay, I disagree with you on this, but let me treat you with dignity and respect. And then let's talk about this and try to figure this out. We've got lots of hard problems. Immigration is a hard problem. The issue with gun violence is a hard problem. Budget issues are a hard problem. Syria and the Kurds and the Turks is a hard problem. We've got lots of hard problems. None of them get easier by not talking to each other. So let's set the tone for them. I think they need to see it. And we